Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. I think we'll wait 1 or 2, maybe additional minutes because people are still joining us. Okay, so I think we can start right now. Once again, hello to everyone who joined us today. My name is Maciej Bebak. I work in AP System for several years, mainly in Cloud ACS products, so the product related to today's meeting. And the topic of today's webinar is related to the data containers, which in our system are called properties, and their multiple applications. And so the plan for today's call, for today's webinar, is to talk about properties. At the beginning, I will make short introduction about them, what is the property, how it can be created, added to our system. And after that, I will go to their applications. Firstly, I will talk about possibility to create filters, which will filter your device management list according to existence of the property. After that, I will present to you how you can customize customer information box using the properties. The third application will be the provisioning. So one of the crucial features of every ACS, how you can use properties in the provisioning scenario. And last but not least, application is related to the migration rules. So usage of the properties of those data containers to automatically, dynamically sort your devices. Okay, so now I will go to the view of one particular device to talk briefly about the idea of the property in our ACS. The properties can be found in 2 places in our system. The first one is in the view of one device, here General Management tab, in the property box. On the right side, the second one is related to the groups. So you can go to Device Groups tab, and here is the tab related to the properties which were added to that particular group, which is highlighted here. So what is the property? Property is a data container which consists of the name, so the key, and the value. Like here in the property box, you can find every property which was added to that particular device. You can also remove them here. And the value of such a property can be anything you want, can be data model, key, so the path to some particular parameter. It can be Boolean value like true or false. It can be some string anything which may somehow be used in our system. It is important to know that the properties are stored on our side, so on the platform side, not on the devices. And as you may already know, you can add properties to the devices, to some particular device, and also to the groups. If the property is added to the group, it is inherited to every device which is located in that particular group. So for now, we'll add the property manually here via the button add, and the name of the property will be venue, and the value will be store 321. We have to click on the save button to save such a property. And now, if you want to search that list, or you want to find some particular property, you can use that search bar search. And it is also interesting that this search is using both the name and the value to perform the search. So you can type venue, and we have our property as a result, or you can search by value, and the system will also present you the result. It may be important in some cases. You can also click on compute setting value profile, a button to see all the properties which were inherited from the groups in which this device is located. This is the complete list. Majority of them are here for the configuration purpose. They are created by us. The properties which are related to that particular device are on that list here. So you may wonder how you can add properties to our platform. The most basic way to do that is manual work by clicking here add and doing that manually. Basically, we can also use CSV file import. So you can create the CSV file in some software and put there multiple properties and import them to particular devices. And you can also use API to send requests to our system, which will create appropriate properties on our site, on the platform side. So now you have some idea what the property is. So it is a key value chain data container with several applications in the platform. So I will move to the first application of the properties. So their usage in filtering your device management list. So as you may know, this is the place where every device connected to your system is visible. You can search that list. You can filter it via different attributes like the identity, description, IP address, manufacturers. Those are some basic ones. You have to just click on the attribute which is interesting for you. It will be highlighted like here on the green color. So the search will be based on that attribute. As a default, we use identity to perform the search. But you can also go to more advanced searching, clicking on the button. And here you can add more advanced searching criteria. So it can be the property. You can here check if the device connected to your account have the interesting for you property. So the identity here should be changed to device property. And you can see areas which should be filled. Here we'll put the venue, and that property I've already created on one of the devices should be equal to store 321. But it can be also changed to not equal, contains, starts with, and so the tool is very flexible. Now you have to click search devices, and as a result, the system presented to us the device correctly because I've created the property, that particular property venue with that value on that particular device. What is interesting there that that searching can be more advanced, so you can add more conditions here. You can try to find device with multiple properties. You can also add some condition, some criteria not related to the property, like identity. So it can be some kind of a mix. Okay, now we'll go to the second application of the properties in our system, which can be useful for you. So customization of the customer information box. So I am in the advanced view of that device. Here is the customer information box, the place where you can put information about your customers, about the owners, users of that device. So it can be manually edited here by clicking edit. You can add new value. For example, we can put company here, and the value will be AV system, as it is our device. So it may be very useful to fill that box, because the operators, the customer care teams, some kind of support teams will be able to find the owner or contact the owner of that device much faster. So one way is to edit it manually here, but you can also do that using properties, because each entry here is underneath the property. So we can go to the general management again. We can click add, and here we have to put the property with some specific exact prefix customer info. It should look like that, customer info, and here we can put name, like John, and we can also add second property, customer info, as a prefix, and phone, and here we can put the phone number of your client. We have to save that. We can go back to the overview. We have to refresh the page, and you can see that your customer information box was filled with the values I've created as a properties. Of course, on the production scale, you can add those properties in a bulk to hundreds, thousands of devices via API or via CSV files. Let's go to the third application of the properties, one of the most important application of the properties in our system. So the automation of the device provisioning. Let's imagine the scenario in which you want to automate the provisioning of some specific service like internet, VoIP, or Wi-Fi. You can add necessary information to our system as a properties, information like login, passwords, PPPoE credentials, maybe some phone lines, information which are necessary to perform the provisioning. So you have to add them to our platform as a properties. You can do that via API or CSV file. And be aware that the topic of adding properties to the system will not be covered today. Please contact us if you will struggle with that procedure. You can also find some documentation pages and explanation of that topic in our doc, which can be found here. Today we'll just focus on the provisioning part, so the part which is using the properties. So let's imagine the case that you want to configure the Wi-Fi on your device. So you somehow added the property with the name SSID and the value test to our system. As I said, it may be done in a bulk via API or CSV files. After that, you can create a task, so a procedure which will use that property to set some parameter on your device. So I will use the task for that. So a workflow which allows us to communicate with the device. A lot of methods are there. All of them are predefined. So you have to just choose the method of your interest. And here I will use the method set because I want to set the parameter related to the SSID to some particular value. What should be done here? First of all, you have to provide the data model key, so the path to the parameter related to the SSID. You can click it here like I'm doing that right now, but you can also go to the data model tab to check appropriate parameter. Today I will just use our suggestions to go there. And here we are. Here is our parameter related to SSID. So that part is done. Now we have to use to put and fill the value of that parameter. And you may wonder why you should use properties. Maybe just type test here. But if you want to provision or configure automatically hundreds of devices, the task should assess those values dynamically. And for each device, the value will be different. So the ultimate goal here is that the task will set the parameter SSID to the value which is different in every device. And to do that, we'll use such an expression. And the syntax of that is also explained in our documentation. Don't worry about that. And here I will use and I will invoke the method getProperty. The system is also suggesting us what should be used here. So the method getProperty, and here we have to provide the name of the property which should be used. So SSID, it was created on that device. Now we can see that the syntax is correct because that area is not highlighted on the red color. So basically, that's all. That task, that procedure will set that parameter here. So the parameter related to the SSID to the value of that particular property. We can run it. You can see that it will be queued here. Here you can see the procedure, what was done. Here's the log. And we can go to the data model to check if it works as it should. So I will type SSID. The results will be marked on the green color here. And you can see that the parameter SSID was set to the value of the property SSID, so to the value test. So we use that property here. And you can also create such a task on one device, test it, and you can populate it to a group, clicking here, advance to a group. You can choose group of your interest or maybe your main root group, and that procedure will be executed on every device which is in your main group. But for each device, it will take the value for the particular property on that device. So this is the way to automate provisioning on your devices. What is also interesting here that that procedure can also be reversed. So you can take the value of some parameter and you can save it as a property in our system. Why to do that? Because you can afterwards, you can use those properties in CSV reports, and you can also use them as some kind of execution condition of some task. So they may be used to different things. How to perform such a reverse procedure? As before, we'll click on the config here. You should find the method get here because we want to get, refresh some parameter. In our case, I want to know what is the CPU usage in percent of that particular device. So I will try to find that parameter here. And here we are, use our parameter. So this is that parameter and output variable. So the internal task variable with the value of that parameter is here. I will change that to TMP1, so the temporary variable 1, because you will see it there. So that part will refresh and will take the value. We'll use tr069 method, get parameter value on that parameter, and the output will be saved to that internal variable. After that, we have to use the method store, which is here, which will store on the platform side that output variable TMP1 as a device property. So here, three things have to be changed. So variable type should be changed to device property. Variable name can be CPU usage, but the name doesn't matter here. And the value should be the value of that output. To do that, as before, we'll use expression. The system is suggesting us that we can use that variable here. And basically, that's all. So to summarize that, method get is taking the value of the parameter from the device. It's refreshing that from the device. It is saving the result internally in a variable TMP1. The method store is creating a property with the name CPU usage, and the value, which is exactly the same as that output variable. We can create the task. It is waiting for the execution. And with the next periodic session, it will be executed and the property will be created, the property CPU usage. And now we'll go to the last but not least application of the properties, so the migration rules. And here you may wonder, you may ask, what is the migration rule? So the migration rule is a process which can automate moving the movement of the devices between your groups. To create a migration rule, you have to go to the device groups tab, choose the group of your interest to which you want to add migration rule, and the tab migrations here. I will click on the button add new migration rule, and the migration rule consists of several features. Here is a column activate. So you can activate or deactivate the migration rule. In our case, I will make it active. After that, you have to create a condition which will be assessed by the system. So I want to create a condition which will check if the device has a property venue. So the property I've created at the beginning of that webinar. And as before, I will use the expression for that. So I will type device has property because I only want to check if there is such a property on that particular device. The name will be venue. And that's all. So the condition is checking if there is a property venue on the devices located in that particular group. After that, we have to fill the column destination group. So the group to which the devices will be moved if the condition is satisfied. And here you can do that in two ways. The first way is a static way. So you can just type the specific path to the group of your interest, or something like that. So you may know to which group you want to move those devices. So you may put it here like that. But you can also create a dynamic destination group using expression. So as before, $sign curly bracket device. Here we'll use method get property, not has property, because here we want to use the value of that property. The name of the property is also venue. Here you can check if the devices should be removed from the group. If that condition is not satisfied, you can also apply those rules in the subgroups. It should be marked in our case. You can also make some notes here. And there is a need to save that on your account by clicking save. Migration rules work dynamically. They are assessed with periodic session of the devices. So when the device which satisfies those conditions will connect to the system, such a group should be created and visible here in your group tree. So I will refresh the page here, and you can see that the new group was created, the group venue, with the subgroup store 3 to 1. And we can also notice that there is a device there on which I've created the property venue. We can also go back to the task which was creating the property on the device side, which was taken from the device the value CPU usage. In the log, you can see that our temporary variable 1 had a value 56, and in general management, in the property box, you can see that such a property was created. And as I said, it can be used to, for example, create a report in a CSV file. Okay, I think that's all from my side. I will turn on the quick survey, and please fill it. Okay, so thanks for your attention. Have a nice day.